Hello and welcome to this edition of Good Vibrations. I have been off air for a few months, mainly due to some physical challenges that I have been facing. Nothing serious, but enough for me just to take some personal time just to sit back and reflect. And for those of you who have been on my Reiki courses, one of the things I will always say, especially at level 1, because it's that physical level, is that when we become ill, the first question we should ask is, so what's this all about? So it's been a really interesting process right from May, the end of May, June, July, August, and even into September. Me having to think about, well, what are these events in my life, from vertigo, a specific type of vertigo in May, about balance, direction. My life was in a spin. My head was spinning. I was spinning. Lots of different analogies going on. And look what was happening in the world around us. You know, we were all in a spin about, and we still are in a spin about, the conflicts that are out there, the financial crisis, just lots of things going on, which then sort of morphed itself. That particular episode in May sort of morphed its way through June and into July and August. Where in September it was just brought down with a particularly virulent form of flu, literally 3 weeks, not quite in bed. I'm not a person that stays in bed. But again, I was asking myself, so what's this about? What is flu about? And flu is a deep cleansing. It is about clearing and detoxing the body, those hot sweats, and your body's just exuding all this energy, even though you don't think you are, because you're feeling so debilitated by it. But that was an interesting time. I felt myself reflecting back and seeing some major changes, feeling I was missing out, feeling I was being left behind. It was a very extraordinary sensation in September. And I'm not quite sure if that's how people were feeling in general, that they were missing out, that they weren't participating in life, or they felt separate from what other people were doing. It was really, really interesting. And then, of course, the final blow came when I think the doctor put it down as a concussion to my foot, in which I've jangled all the nerves in my foot. So the feeling is coming back. No broken bones, but the feeling is coming back, and it's the right foot. It's always my right foot. So again, I'm asking, so what's that all about? And so it's about a change in direction and not fearing that this step that I'm making, not going to make, but I am actually making, not fearing that this change is going to be the wrong direction. There are no wrong directions, or there are no mistakes. There's only that learning curve, and you've got to take that leap of faith and put yourself on this new direction. And so I've been slowly changing my thought processes from May. It's taken me all this time to commit to these changes here in October. Some of them I've been keeping you informed about, not via the Good Vibrations and the Phyllis Brown newsletter, because I haven't done one for such a wee while, but on the Facebook page. I've certainly been mulling over the help and support I want to give to people. It's not necessarily always about money. Obviously, we need money to live, but it's not necessarily always about money. So I've been putting my meditations out onto Spotify and iTunes. Spotify is definitely the place where people are listening to them. And the feedback has been really cool so far. So, you know, if you're looking for some meditation time, I'm just doing a broad spectrum of some work-based ones and some spiritual-based ones. And that's been a process, a big learning curve and a process, and part of my head spinning, with the whole Vertigo thing about how do I do, I need a producer, I need, ways of getting my product out there. So that's third-party distribution, and then there's all sorts of things in the background. And I seem to have got a handle on that with a new release just released on Friday there called Releasing Unworthiness, which I really hope for you who are watching, the link is in the newsletter. For those of you who often feel or have felt in the past belittled by family members, work colleagues, belittled by partners, by friendships, by children, then this is the one for you. There's a little bit of theta healing in that meditation. For myself, I've really struggled with unworthiness from just that whole bullying aspect from the childhood process right through work in particular, work challenges where I was made to feel unworthy, less than, not good enough, all of those phrases that we get bogged down in unworthiness. And so I'm hoping in offering this on Spotify and iTunes that, you can hopefully listen to that meditation and find a way of seeing your own value and your own worth and what that means in relation to what you're doing right now. Because I can now see the correlation of these inconvenient illnesses, all be them necessary. It's been a huge journey, really, on some levels, I can tell you. To me, finally now, finding some feeling back in my foot, the numbness is gone, so the feeling's there. So I'm really focused on I'm stepping in the right direction. And sometimes when we stop, when we acknowledge that our body is yelling at us, literally yelling at us, especially with the vertigo, an ambulance journey into an acute ward and, lots of experts around me trying to figure out what was going on. It's quite frightening and discombobulating. But when we listen to the yelling of our body, and I'm sitting in this amazing facility here in Christchurch in New Zealand, just asking that question, so what's this about, Phil? What is it about? And I think I've been on this journey now, and maybe some of you have been as well. As I reflect back on the last 4 months, at least, the world has become quite polarizing. We're in a phase in the world's history where repeat patterns are coming out. And we see old vendettas and old beliefs and old ways of thinking almost winning the battle. And I don't know what that battle is, but I'm referring to what is happening in the Middle East. Will the conflict there ever end? Is the battle actually about terrorism? Is it about a land grab? Is it about ownership? Is it about the absolute annihilation of a race of people? It's really hard to comprehend that when we're not involved and we don't know the history. I don't know the history. I don't understand the history, and I'm not here to say that I do. But it is very polarizing, and we've seen those for and against processes. Unfortunately, and this is just my perspective, unfortunately, the hostages, are at the bottom of the pile. they are the least concern when it comes to the government that should be fighting for their release. And that is really an interesting thing to see old mentality coming through. And then we're seeing this polarization also in America with the election, and it's always polarizing. The characters in there are really polarizing. And so how is that going to show itself? I think America has a great opportunity to find a way through and create change once and for all, to actually find a way to save itself, but to lead the way in democracy on a level by showing that the new is nothing to be feared and the new can work and the new is okay. So it's a really interesting time that we're living in. And I think when we take this macro vision and we take it down to the micro level, our own personal level, we're being really asked to look at our lives in terms of, are we living the best life with financial constraints and financial impositions being poured upon us through government policy, banking policy, have our freedoms been usurped by some unseen force, and we're being forced down this path that we are really maybe not accustomed to, or we don't want to. We don't want to have such strict financial control. So that's quite polarizing in itself. As we came into October, I always find October a change-making month. I find it a month where it's that time of the year where we've just got this short part left of this year. So we've got October, November, December. So we're in the last quarter, not of the fiscal year, the financial year, but just of the physical year. And I find October sort of sets things alight. So things can get quite heightened in October. Change can come rapidly. And we have to be really aware of that. We have to be aware of what is happening in our own personal world. Read the signs, read the symbols, trust your intuition. Make sure that you're connecting to the people that you need to connect to so that you get a feel for what's going on around you, as well as what's going on externally and what's going on in that bigger picture stuff. And so that's why I called the newsletter Body, Mind and Spirit, because that's who we are. We have this physical persona, this corporeal body that is a wonderful barometer if we listen to it. If we keep ignoring it, it will somehow make you lie down. Whichever way it does, whether it's like me being carted off in an ambulance or lying in my reclining chair for at least 3 weeks with this flu bug, it will make you stop if you don't listen or if you are ignoring the signals that the universe is telling you. I, for one, can't tell you if I'm making the right decision. I don't know if putting my product out in the public domain is a good thing or a bad thing. I hope it is a good thing. I hope for many of you out there who have a Spotify account or an iTunes account, you follow my listing as an artist, you share my music with people that you think could benefit from it. Personally, I'm not going to become an overnight millionaire, that's for sure. It's not a place that you put your product on to earn money. It's just not how it works. But it is a way of me sharing some tools, I think, that will help you as individuals get through or find some healing context to what has been a really challenging time, a very challenging time indeed. So that's where I've been. I apologise for being MIA, but I'm feeling really good. And as per always, I've been trying all my different health approaches. I'm off to acupuncture. Just started acupuncture to see if that resolves the trapped or jangled nerve in my foot, which is relaying up my body. So that will be an adventure in itself. So I'm looking forward to some of that lovely Eastern medicine coming in. What is new out there is that we have my Reiki classes for the last quarter of the month. So any of you that are really interested in investing in your own personal well-being, then I have a class. It's pretty close. It's on the 19th of October. I have a lovely Reiki master teacher going through her Reiki mastership at the moment. And then I have a Reiki 1 and a Reiki 3 also planned for the end of the year. So those are the physical classes that I am putting out there. All the online classes are still $9.99. So now is a great time to invest in those video courses, to really listen to me teach you about the products that you like so much. Psychic Development and Crystal Healing are still the top courses that are being purchased. But if you want to create a career out of teaching my product, then the teacher training courses are great value at the moment. I think I've got them sitting at $500 or $550 at the moment. And you get the eye facility for free. So the eye facility is even though I say so myself, my wonderful, wonderful Train the Trainer course. In which I guide you through all aspects of how to host, hold, and manage a student group, which then gives you the tools you need to become a teacher in my product. So lots of specials on the website. And another special that follows on from my live talk on Insight Timer. We had 151 people all meditating at the same time. Fantastic energy. So you can find me on Insight Timer if you haven't joined me there. And so we talked about the 12 chakra systems. So I've bundled together the Psychic Development book and the Soul Journey cards as a special offer for $20. Great value. Postage on top. Unfortunately, I can't afford to not charge for postage, but great value. So you can purchase that online as well through my website, which is the Opus Soul community. So I'm trying to make offerings that will help you from very low cost, as in Spotify, or through Insight Timer, to those special priced offerings on the website, so that you too can find a connection to that body, mind, and spirit. Really reconnect to who you are as a person. I certainly have obviously lost my way a little bit back in May, my head in a complete and utter spin. But I feel I'm finding my way back to where I need to be and to who I need to be, and giving myself permission that that's okay, that is actually okay, even in these times of polarizing events, which can be quite difficult to cope with. So I hope you've enjoyed my video message. I'll be back on a regular basis from now on. But until the next time, look forward to hearing from you, your thoughts and feelings on my message or what's happening with you. I always love getting your emails. And we'll catch up with you the next time. So until then, take care of yourself. Bye for now.